I just happened to think I could maybe point things out to you enough on this that's already almost done without starting over and trying to show you on a whole new one. I might be able to do it quicker this way, but I had to try to prop the camera up different because I couldn't get it far enough away. Okay, I think I started from the top, but when you're starting, you're just working with just your outlines. So my strip is looped to the upper right. And I did have in my head, I don't know if I sketched it on a piece of paper, but I just knew I wanted kind of a free form, back and forth zigzag. So I looped my first twining strip here and just kind of loosely followed the line I wanted to go in. So I worked from right to left. And since I'm working around the sidebars, there's no pulling in, and I don't have to worry about messing up the tension. I do start out with a fairly firm vertical tension on the warp. But I had the idea that I wanted to go zigzag back and forth. And it would do you better probably just draw something loosely on a piece of paper without worrying about being too exact with it. So I was making openings to color in, like a coloring book. So with the blue, I went from the upper corner and just roughly to the other side. When I did that, I adjusted it a little bit. I think I first ended up down here, and I decided I didn't really like that, so I pushed it up a little bit until I made this shape. And then for the return run, I ran right across, I ran right up against it until I wanted to diverge off. So I started as normal, just reversing, going the opposite direction, and I decided where I wanted to open up the next section and started to drop. I probably went more straight, decided I wanted to open a little more, so pushed it down until I liked the shape. Then I ended up over here. So from here I twined back as normal and then diverted from here and went to the other side. And again, you've got enough play. You can push it up or push it down a little bit to fine tune your shape. So then from here, I went back across again and decided that this was going to be my final section. So I ran across to the other side and finished off. After that, you can fill it in whatever order you want. And I kind of did it as a sampler just to experiment in different ways. I believe I did this one first, and I did it in two colors, so I had two different strips. And I went from one side to the other, and I went around, back and forth this way, back and forth, inside, until it got to this center part where it finished up. And I did the bottom. I decided to just do the bottom straight back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And of course, once you get to where the curve starts, you're ending on a warp strip, but it still stayed back and forth all the way up until this last row up here. Doing it this way, you will find, you can see there's little air holes. You can see the light passing through them. I haven't been good at eliminating those, but mostly because I'm not a tight twiner. I have a short attention span, and I don't have the patience to really do it really tight packed and make sure every little hole is gone and make sure every little bit of warp disappears. I don't have that kind of patience. But when you do twine a little bit loose, like I do, when you take it off, especially after you walk on it a little bit or wash it, these holes will just disappear because the tension on the various strips they'll start to regulate, that's not the word I'm looking for, balance. They'll start to balance out, and most of these holes will pretty much disappear. Okay, where was I? Okay, this one I went straight back and forth. Next was this one, and I kind of combined the two. I started out on the curve, and then I decided to just start going straight. So that's just a kind of a combination of the two. This one, I went straight, but I went with the curve. So I went here, 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 all the way up to ending up here. So it's relatively straight with this line, yet it's following the contour. On this final section, I'm going back to the sort of like this, only since it's skinny on one end and wide on the other, I won't need to fill in a hole. It'll just keep going smaller and smaller, the triangle, until I'm ending up with probably a difficult spot in the center, which I'll deal with when I get to it. But hopefully that helped you out a little bit, just envisioning it. Take a big square piece of paper, or whatever proportions of your rug is going to be, and just draw a few lines to give yourself some shapes to color in. And then just twine, to start out with, just twine those shapes. And then you just, as I said, just fill it in. Sorry about all the background noises. I'm outside and I got baby geese over there right behind me that are getting really excited over something or other. Okay, I hope this helps some. And if not, I'll see if